Hey everyone, I'm KuroKami, and today we are going to be taking a look at the Raiden Shogun. I know I'm very late to this guide. Raiden Shogun has been out for about 8-9 days or so, but she has gotten a rerun in version 5.0, as you all know. In this video, I will be covering her weapons, artifacts, talents, and teams. So the Raiden Shogun is one of the most free-to-play friendly characters in Genshin Impact. So without making the God of Eternity wait any longer, let's jump right into this Raiden Shogun guide. So starting off with Raiden Shogun's best weapons. The Engulfing Lightning is her best in slot. As its main stat, it provides you with energy regen. It increases her attack by 28%, based off of her regen that's over 100%. And you can get up to a maximum of 80% from it. You also gain 30% regen from this weapon for 12 seconds after you ult with Raiden Shogun. Then her next best option is the catch at R5. This is a very old fishing weapon that you can craft from Inazuma. For its main stat, it also offers you with energy regen. For the passive, it increases your elemental burst damage by 32% at R5 and also gives you 12 free crit rate when you ult. Otherwise, if you do not have these weapons, or if someone's using the catch, like Xiangling for example, you can either give her the Skyward Spion, which also gives her energy regen and increases her crit rate by 8%, or lastly, you can give her the Favonius Lance, which again also gives her energy regen. You kind of see a pattern here, this character loves energy regen. Then onto her artifact set. The Emblem of Severed Fate is by far Raiden's best in slot artifact set. For the 2-piece, it increases her energy regen by 20%. For the 4-piece, it increases her elemental damage by 25% based off of her energy regen, and a maximum of 75% damage bonus can be obtained if you get enough energy regen. After that, you can run the Noblesse Oblige set, primarily just for the burst damage if you do not have a good emblem set. Alternatively, you can mix it up with a 2-piece emblem and a 2-piece Noblesse set. For her substats, prioritize crit rate, crit damage into energy regen into attack percentage. If you are running her without the Engulfing Lightning, or if you're running her at C0, give her a attack sands, an attack goblet, and a crit circlet depending on your crit ratios. Now onto her talents. For Raiden's talent priority, level up her burst into a skill. The normal attack isn't important, and leave her skill at level 9 because it does not increase its scaling at level 10. For the normal attack not being so important, her burst has its own separate scaling that you will utilize 99% of the time. So now that you know all of that, let's take a look at her skill, the Transcendence Baleful Omen. When you E with Raiden Shogun, she will grant herself and nearby party members the Eye of Stormy Judgment. So the way the Eye of the Stormy Judgment works, when characters with Stormy Judgment attack enemies, the Eye will unleash a coordinated attack dealing electro damage as AoE and can be used as off-field damage. Characters who gain the Stormy Judgment effect will have their burst damage increased based on the energy cost after burst. And lastly, the Eye can deal a coordinated attack once every 0.9 seconds. Keep in mind, this burst damage will apply to Raiden also. And now, onto her burst, the secret art, Muso Shinsetsu. Raiden Shogun will change states, infusing her normal attacks with electro damage, also using a separate scaling from her normal base attack. Her burst will have its own scaling, and she will do a really big strike on the initial hit. Then you can perform charge strikes, dealing again electro damage on top of that. As I mentioned earlier, the more Stormy Judgment stacks you possess, the stronger her burst will be. Now onto her passive talent, Wishes Unnumbered. When nearby party members gain elemental orbs or particles, Raiden will gain 2 resolve stacks. This can be triggered once every 3 seconds. Then onto the next passive talent, Enlightened One. For every 1% energy recharge above the 100% base Raiden has, she will gain 0.6% energy restoration from her ult and 0.4% electro damage bonus. Her final passive talent is very basic, very straightforward. When you are ascending swords or polearms, she will decrease the cost by 50%. Now we're finally onto the team section. The Raiden National is the most popular team amongst them all. This team consists of Raiden Shogun, Xingshu, Xiangling, and Bennett. Alternatively, if you want to run it as a hyper carry, you can use Raiden Shogun, preferably at C2 or C3, but C0 can work. Bennett, Kujusara at C6, and a Kazuha. Thanks so much for checking out this Raiden Shogun guide. If this video was helpful or informative to you, please leave a comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you all in the plane of Euthymia.